Welcome to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you'll hear about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Now, let's join your hosts, Spivvy Williams and Terrible T Guy.
All right, guys, welcome to the next edition of Event Radio. This one's going to be a little special. We're going to introduce you to a family that races together almost every weekend somewhere, but in several different divisions. They at the show we're at with them, we're going to speak to them. They're at the Nationals of the Soapbox Derby, or the I guess you would call it the Bonneville Salt Flat edition.
Yeah, here
of the
at Fillmore Park in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Yeah, they picked this track because this track is the absolute coolest and one of the coolest in the country. And there are racers here from all over the country.
Nebraska, Missouri.
Yeah, everywhere.
Ohio.
But we actually are going to concentrate. There are so many kids to talk to here. It's unreal. So we decided to concentrate this show on one little lady that you have met before on Event Radio. The gal's name is Savannah Fitzgerald. She is a racer through and through. She's
Miss Savannah.
She's a whopping 13 years old and been racing since she was 5. And, man, she is flat good at what she does. And it doesn't matter if it's in a soapbox derby car, a go-kart. I predict that this little gal will probably go on to a killer future, and my prediction is that she'll wind up winning an IndyCar race before it's over.
With the bagging she's got from her family and already a media magnet, the way she can present herself, sweet little old girl. It's hard not to pull for her, and she's gonna make it. She's already made it in the amateur ranks, but she's got nowhere to go but up.
Yeah, she's the only factory female kart racer, I guess, in this country, the factory-sponsored ride. She just signed on with Tony Kart, which is the fastest. You got one. They're the coolest go-kart just about on the planet. They're made in Italy, and they are the Ferrari of go-kart. And they have picked this little girl up as part of their team. Now,
maybe she
give me a break.
Maybe she can give me some tips on how to drive it, Spivvy.
Well, you're doing okay, but still, there aren't much better go-karts out there than a Tony Kart.
No,
they're awesome. And
maybe she can tell us about she got a TV show coming up.
Yeah, she Yeah, she's got a reality TV show that they're filming now all this season as she races, and we get to find out a little about that, what's going on there. We get to talk to Dad, who is the driving force behind this, and he is actually molding this little lady to be the ultimate champion. And we kid him. We call him the second cat in the hat. The first cat in the hat, of course, is Jack Roush. But Derek Fitzgerald, we kid him because he wears these pompadour hats everywhere he goes. So he's the second cat in the hat.
But he looks like an old hippie, that old ponytail and everything.
There you go. But he owns a company called Zero Error that makes custom pieces for all kinds of motorsports. I mean, he makes all of the wheels for the soapbox derby cars. He makes all the cool things for go-karts. He makes all the really trick pieces that are used in quarter midgets, and on and on and on. And he even makes the Blaney's some stuff for their sprint cars. I mean, this guy is smooth as a goose when it comes to making fabricated race pieces.
Derek definitely knows what he's talking about.
Youngstown, Ohio.
Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah, the proof's in the pudding, and it's Zero Error from Youngstown, Ohio that he makes, and you can get on the line and .error.org or .com. I'm not sure which, but you can get on there. One of them dots, yeah, and he can get on there and look at some of this cool stuff that this gentleman makes. But little Savannah, we're going to open our show with her. And we're going to talk to her. We're going to talk to her big sister, Derek and his little grandson, because the whole family is involved in racing. When we first came in out here, I thought it was really cool. Here's all these soapbox derby, and here is a huge bus with a stacker trailer, and that happens to be their rig that they go traveling from coast to coast.
You're going to travel in style.
Yeah, if you're going to do it, if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. And then we pulled in there smoking a turkey. We might stay for lunch. You think? I don't know. Well, T, we're gonna get out of here and get ready for Miss Savannah. We got to play a little sponsor or two to keep us on this radio show, but I think this is going to be a good one. This is one that's going to be entertaining. It's going to be informative, and you're going to meet some really, really nice people.
And you guys out there, if you like this show, call up our sponsors. Say, hey, we like them two old boys doing what they're doing.
Yeah,
tell them that you listen.
We'd appreciate it. And if you don't like it, don't even look them up in the phone book. You know, we don't want you to do that. We're going to take a quick break, guys. We're going to jump in both feet with Miss Savannah Fitzgerald and start letting you know just who she is and who the family are, and why at any event you go to, you'll want to take the time to walk over and say, hey, I heard about you on the event radio. Who are you? And
if they don't know her now, they're going to in the future.
Boy, that's a fact. But they'll know her from her crossing the finish line first. That's just the way it is. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, welcome to Event Radio. We've got our part-time girlfriend, I guess you would call her, Terry and ours buddy. That is an absolute future superstar in the making. And
if you haven't heard of her now, you will before it's over.
That's a fact. There is no doubt about it. The little young lady that we get to talk to quite a bit. This is going to be sort of the first family show, you know, because we're going to talk to you and Big Sister and
Pop,
the old man and the grandson and the whole bit. So we're going to have some fun. But our favorite racer, just about of all time, Miss Savannah Fitzgerald. Darling, how in the world are you today?
I'm awesome right now.
Yeah, you're spanking them out here at the Soapbox Derby pretty good, aren't you?
Yeah.
So you've won. Now, is there just one more heat? Is that it or what?
One more heat and I'll be in the final heat.
Oh, so you're in the semifinals now. Any butterflies in your tummy?
Not really.
Better be for the competitors, though, having Savannah.
The ones that are going to be in the other lane better have them. I can tell you that for a fact. You, boy, you race a lot of stuff, Gail. You know, you're already a past soapbox champion for sure. You're a many-time go-kart champion. You now are you got a factory ride with a go-kart. You're probably, honest to goodness.
Well, she's going to be a movie actor too. Speedy.
Yeah, she's going to be a movie star. But she's probably the best young female racer in the United States
by far.
By far. What do they think, Gal, when you go out to the go-kart races and there's all these guys and you show up and they say, "Oh, that little girl," and then you just spank them big time? What do they think about that?
Well, they're like, I'm still working on getting faster. I mean, there's still a bunch that are faster than me, and then sometimes I'm getting a lot better, and now I'm up with like 17 and 18-year-olds, and they think they can push me around, and I'm starting to stand my ground and show them, like, you can't push me around.
Well, you know, the thing about it, they're 17 or 18, but you've got more experience than they're going to have before they retire. You've been doing this forever, you know, since you were a very little lady.
Yeah.
And you started at 5, I think, right?
Yes.
You're wild, Gal. You're wild. You're unbelievable. I'm gonna put you on the spot.
I know.
That's it. What's going to happen when you turn about 16 or so and it becomes date time, and the boyfriend comes over and picks you up and thinks he's about half cool in the car, and you say, "Hey, bud, I'm going to do you easy." What's he going to think about that?
Well, the one thing right now is I wish everybody could see my dad's face at the moment.
Well, we're going to talk to him about that a little later. But it's always cool to bring that up to you when old Dad's standing there, because, boy, you just sull up too. You know, you don't want to talk about that in front of Dad.
Keep looking at Dad and say, "Can I answer this?"
When they think they got a cool ride, they should come see mine.
Yeah, there you go. Because you can handle it. I don't know about them, but you can handle it. Let me ask you, what kind of car does Savannah want when she turns 16? Convertible.
He says no. He's like, you are going to have the most biggest truck on the face of the planet, so when you flip or something, you're not going to get hurt.
Well, all dads think that. What kind of convertible? Dump truck. No, not a dump
Convertible
truck.
dump truck. It's pretty
We-
sure, Savannah, you wouldn't have any trouble with a
Savannah, let me
convertible
tell
dump
you
truck.
something, Gail. Let me explain something to you that your old fat buddy and your old broke down motorcycle racer might be able to help you with later on. And I don't know for sure, so don't hold us to this. There's a great big road race facility being built here right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's huge, beautiful, $26 million racetrack. And it's being built for one team, basically, which is Corvette Racing, because all the Corvettes in the world come from here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you get up to that level, what about, if I was you, I'd say, hey, you got to furnish me a Corvette convertible. You know, if I'm gonna sign on with your team, you gotta furnish me one. And I see you kill two birds with one stone. You'd have that convertible you want, and you'd be on a sure enough kicking team. What do you think about that?
That sounds cool.
You believe you could do that?
Yeah, I believe I could probably do that.
Work that into your schedule.
Somewhat.
Okay, all right. Does Savannah lay in bed at night and think about the future any on how far you're going to advance as you age a little?
I sometimes think about maybe what I'd do if I wanted to move up from go-karts, if maybe, like, eventually one day move up to NASCAR if I wanted to. Really.
Well, see, T and I last night, we were talking, and we have a different vision for you. And I'm going to explain to you just a little bit why we have the vision we have. We have gone out on a limb, and we have made a prediction.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually, we did this to some fairly VIP people. And we said, we know what we're talking about, and you just wait and see. T and I have predicted, if you stay with this and you advance as much in the next little bit as you already have, our prediction is you will be the first female lady to win the Indianapolis 500.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That'd be crazy.
And let me tell you why we're saying that. See, we do a lot of races, Gal. We're involved in a lot of different kinds of racing, and we know some fairly heavy hitters.
Mm-hmm.
All of your just about all your previous IndyCar guys were go-kart champions. If you look at Dario Franchitti, if you look at even Michael Schumacher,
Joseph
all
Newgarden.
those guys, they're all into karting. That's where they got their feet wet, and they advanced.
I know of one go-karter, and he's my favorite IndyCar driver.
Who's that?
Joseph Newgarden.
Oh, okay. Well, now Mark Dismore also is a former Indy guy that's in the go-kart business, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But there are a lot of them, Gail, that actually got started really good in karting. And with you doing as good as you are, as young as you are,
Mm-hmm.
You're our pick of the week, kid. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah, my motor's a Comet motor made by Mark Dismore and Brandon Jenkins.
Exactly what I said, guys. You are in the footsteps of going in that direction. The Indy style cars are, after all, they're just a real high horsepower, bigger go-kart is basically what they are. They're a featherweight car with a tremendous amount of horsepower. And what you're learning, I mean, your go-kart is no slouch, okay? It's a lot of horsepower to weight ratio already.
Mm-hmm.
You are perfecting finesse right now. That's how you make the soapbox derby car go fast. That's how you make the go-kart go fast. You learn how to get it done without abrupt moves.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the main things you learn. And I may be a little bit advanced here, but that's what's going on. And that is the key to a very successful IndyCar ride, is being able to. Most of those guys, if they could play a piano, they'd be a Chopin concert pianist, because they learn the touch, the feel, and they don't abruptly make it do things.
Mm-hmm.
What you thinking NASCAR, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Why NASCAR?
Well, my dad always talked about how he doesn't really like the open-wheeled stuff like that.
Well, I love the open
Well, like
I love the open wheel, but my little girl going 240 miles an hour with carbon fiber tends to scare me a little bit.
Well, I can understand that.
Very much so.
Yeah, I can understand that, and I fully understand having the NASCAR car around you as being safe. There's no doubt about that. What Savannah want to do? Irregardless, forget about old Dad. I mean, we're going to talk about him on
Now, don't
dates
get in
later and
trouble,
all that
Stevie.
stuff. Forget him. What does Savannah want to do?
Really my main two is either IndyCar, or I don't really know if this could ever happen, but I'd do Formula One if I could.
There you go. There you go. Now,
If
you're gonna be if you're going to be a bear, be a grizzly. Now, there's no doubt about it. What and little girl, you got your head screwed on right. Now, on top of that, you're about to become a TV star.
Mm-hmm.
How in the world does a 13-year-old handle all this? Probably in school they don't believe you.
Oh, nobody in school believes me. It's like, really, when I say something, they're like, yeah, okay, stop lying. Like, just a couple minutes ago, somebody wasn't believing me about the TV show, and I pulled my dad over, and I was like, tell them, and they believe me now.
TV stuff hard to do?
Not really. Like, they don't ask very complicated stuff. They just ask you how your run went, and they ask you, like, what you're doing, and they just... Really, it's mostly just you act natural with it. You tell what's going on, and they just film you doing what you love, really. So,
Was there any kind of distraction, Savannah?
It depends when they're there. Like, if it's going out on the track and they're just filming me, putting on my helmet and stuff, that's fine. And that's really not a distraction. Sometimes when we're in the rush of the moment and stuff and we're late for the grid or something and they're right there, and my dad's having one of his episodes freaking out because we're late and my mechanic is also over there freaking out, then they kind of get in the way, and you're kind of like, move, get out of the way, come on.
Well, I think your dad had an episode a while ago when you won that last heat.
Yeah, he tried to jump over it was like the cow jumping over the moon, He was so excited, I thought he was going to clear the whole track, But that's cool that you're going to be on TV and all that stuff. I know we can't talk a lot about the show because we've been instructed we can't, but we can tell you it's going to be on True TV. And can we even tell them the name of it?
No.
No? Okay, good. I didn't think we could. That's all right. That's okay. But we're excited about getting to see you on the tube, and Terry and I are going to look back, and when you get up there and drink that milk and kiss them bricks, we're going to say, boy, we knew her when, Because
you better hurry up and do it, Savannah, because Pibby's not going to live that much longer at his age.
Me? What about you? You're the one that does all the crazy stuff. All I do is ride in a golf cart. Give me a break.
Never mind.
Never mind. All right. I tell you what, girl, we want to try to make you as easy as possible when you're with us, and we are honestly honored that you would take the time to be on our show and take the time to let us introduce you to our part of the world. We're fortunate. We have a lot of folks from all over the country actually all over the world that listen to the show. So we're going to introduce you to a bunch of them. That'll be cool, huh?
Yeah.
Hey, Savannah, how did you wind up in your volleyball tournament or your team?
I think we got third.
All right.
Well, this girl she
don't miss a lick.
She don't fool with any losers of nothing,
Make the podium all the time.
Yeah, got to be there all the time. So you.
Tell them about your event radio stickers on the nose of your car.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, tell us about that.
We have event radio stickers everywhere on the toolbox, like pretty much everywhere on the go-kart, on the stand, like you name it, it's right there.
Well, I tell you what, now I'm going to tell you a quick story. We just got 2 T-shirts from this little lady today in the mail, and her name is Mia Tedesco. She actually started out bracket racing, a dragster. Her dad owns a company called Cars Incorporated that sells used car warranties all over the United States. We went up to her a lot like when we met you the first time. And we said, here, she was on our little segment on our show, about 5 minutes, and we gave her 2 decals, like we gave you, the special decals of the golf cart. She put those on her dragster. Well, the next day, she won $5,000. 2 weeks later, she won $16,000.
She come back for more decals.
Yeah.
didn't she?
Well, now listen to this though. And then another week past that, she won $22,000.
Wow.
She emailed me. She said, "You got any more of them decals?" So we've had a lot of fun playing with her. That we go along for the ride, but we only ride with the winners.
Woo.
And guess what? You're proving us right.
Yay.
You're gonna win the rest of this today.
I'm gonna try.
Well, I think you're gonna get her done, gal. I believe it won't be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I tell you what I want you to do. I want you to say hi to a bunch of the people in your school that might say that you don't get this done. Would you do that? Can you think of their names?
Well, there's people I don't like.
That's all right. Tell us the ones you don't
We're not
like. That's
mentioning
okay.
that name, huh?
Because what we're going to do, let me tell you what we're going to do. We're going to mail you a CD of this show, and as well as a schedule when they can tune on the radio and listen to it, no matter where in the world they are, and they will not doubt anymore. We'll fix it.
Guess you don't like them anyways, baby.
Yes, you don't like them anyway, so I know it don't matter, but we still.
Oh, I have to give a really big thanks to my principal, Mr. Trosh. He would let me go out of school as long as I had A's and B's, and he'd let me go race, and that's a lot of the reason I've been doing these national races. And he's really been a big part of why I've been going there, and why I've been getting so much better, just letting me go there and be with these top-notch guys.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that's neat. And he's probably a really smart fellow because he realizes you get a lot of education where you're going, just like you being in that school, because you're subjected to so many different people from so many walks of life and the things that go on, and, of course, your dad's business and that kind of stuff. You learn a lot of stuff, gal. Terry and I have always said the only thing we need to know we've learned at the racetrack, And really, if you think about that, you meet the nicest people that will be your friends forever,
Mm-hmm.
and you learn winning, and actually you learn when you get bit to lose how to do that gracefully, if there is such a thing. I don't think there is such a thing, but there might be. What a good loser still a loser. Is that what you say?
No, not really.
Okay, well you do it a little more gracefully than we do. We don't do it quite that gracefully.
Let me think. I was thinking about what you said, people who didn't believe me. Well, I just want to say there's kind of like a group of people who don't believe me, and they know who they are, and I just want to say you're going to be proved wrong when you turn on a True TV.
There you go.
There you go, guys.
Are they at Walmart buying a Savannah Fitzgerald action figure?
Yeah, they're doing that, or they're buying Savannah Fitzgerald T-shirts,
There you
or ordering them in the mail and all that stuff from the reality show.
I'd buy one.
Yeah, we too. Yeah, that way we'd have two shirts to go to church in, wouldn't we?
There you
go.
go.
Well, I'm telling you, little lady, it is always, and we can't tell you how much of a pleasure it is for us to get to talk to you. We know that you are the brightest star out there that's got such a future. It's unbelievable.
Thank you.
You've got, to start with, you've got absolutely wonderful family behind you. And that's better than any sponsor on the planet. You know what I mean?
They've just supported me ever since I started this, and I really can't thank them enough for it.
Well, that is a big deal. And, of course, you got a real crew chief here out of Dad that not only knows what to do with this stuff, he knows how to make it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if there's any way to make it any better, you're going to be the first one on the block with it, And that's got to be a little bit of a confidence builder.
Well, yeah, and the one thing I know is for my nephew, Dawson, well, apparently all my cars, I was the guinea pig. That's what my dad says. I was the guinea pig, so he gets to start right where I left off.
Well, it just might make it just a little easier for him because you can be the test pilot, see, and you
sure
get
it
her done,
works.
huh?
I make sure it works.
Yeah, that's right. You make sure it works.
After you win with it, Dawson's going to really have to win with
Yeah,
it.
you know what?
Proven winner.
You might be making it really hard for him, Gal, because he's under pressure. He's got to because you already spanked him with it, Well, listen, Gal, we know it won't be long till it comes time for you to get up there and do your deal again.
Mm-hmm.
And you do not have on this planet any bigger fans than T and I. You do not have anybody that cares any more about you than Event Radio. We want you nothing but the best of everything. And we plan on, when you win the Indy 500, T and I are going to be there.
Awesome.
Yeah, we're going to be there to watch you. And you better share a little milk with us, too.
Okay.
Okay?
That famous IndyCar milk.
That famous IndyCar milk. Don't put nothing in it either.
No Hershey's chocolate.
Yeah,
or
no.
anything like
Well,
that?
yeah, you could probably put some chocolate in it. That'd be all right. We would like that. Miss Savannah Fitzgerald, guys, the one, the only.
Well, I just got called.
Yeah, you got called. You got to go. But we have just introduced you to a future superstar in the making. And guys, when you see this little gal, you will know Event Radio
Good luck, Savannah.
said this is the way it's going to be. Guys, we're going to take a real quick break, and we will be back with some of the rest of the family. You're on Event Radio. Don't go anywhere. All right, guys, we are back. We got a guy that if there was such a thing as a vote for the Father of the Year, this gentleman would hands down win that election, I believe.
Or the Jack Roush of Soapbox Derbies.
Yeah, the Jack
Cat
Roush.
in the Hat.
Yeah, the number 2 cat in the hat. See, that's what we've nicknamed you, buddy. We've given you a new nickname. See, you got a million names and a million hats you wear, but Mr. Derek Fitzgerald is joining us. Needless to say, got a claim to fame for a lot of things. Of course, his main claim to fame, I guess, is being Savannah's dad. But you know, you do a tremendous amount of stuff with your kids, buddy, and that's what this world is about.
Well, Spivvy, my hobby is my family.
Yeah, and your business goes right in there too with them, and it's I think that's so cool because you guys are in that motorhome and gone somewhere just about every day of every week, someplace. You know.
It'll be Newcastle, Indiana next week, the WKA Nationals.
Yeah, because you do the soapbox derby. You make parts for so many different venues of motor racing, I guess you'd say, from quarter midgets to all the way through.
I've been building a lot of stuff this year. This year we branched out into these 1/5 scale RC cars.
Oh, really?
Oh, I'm building bead locks for those. I'm building a bottom end for a 29cc motor for them. I'm just blessed.
I tell you what, you're an engineering wizard. I mean, you come up with all kinds of cool stuff. And we had one of your very happy customers on an earlier show. We did the quarter midget races. And there's a young man that we got to interview, and you may know who he is. His name is Jagger Parker.
Yep, I know who that is.
Well, can you imagine? I mean, having you for a dad would be really cool with all the knowledge of how to make everything. But him assaulting the world of quarter midgets, and his dad is a former Rainbow Warrior for Jeff Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Sean Parker. And then mom is a former Craftsman truck driver. Miss Deborah Renshaw is mom. So can you imagine the conversation they have at breakfast every morning?
Man, his mama's really fast.
Yeah, and his dad knows which bolts to turn to make that thing do whatever it needs to do. He knows how to make your parts do exactly what you designed them to do.
Well, sounds like that young man is destined for success.
Well, he does pretty good. He does pretty good.
As long as you don't meet up with Savannah.
Yeah, as long as you keep Savannah on the other end of the country and don't put her in a quarter midget, he's got a pretty good shot. Boy, what's it like to have baby girl out there
And
strutting her
grandson.
stuff and doing in the go-karts running as fast as she's running?
It's been an amazing year. We took on a guy named Gary Lawson, who is a probably 20-something time national champion, and I had hit a dead end where I could give Savannah anything mechanical, but I wasn't able to give her the training on the track because I didn't have it.
Yeah, but you knew how to get it.
Well, it's real simple. I said, well, who's the guy around here that knows everything? They said, this Gary Lawson guy. And I said, oh, that's the guy I need. They're like, well, you can't get him. He's tied up with so-and-so and so-and-so. And so I turned my hat on backwards, head down, tail up.
Sick 'em, right?
Yeah, baby. He's mine. He's mine now.
I love it when somebody says you can't do something,
Yeah, I got it.
and that's pretty much your whole theory in business and everything else, I would think. because you make stuff that people say can't be made, and then it's not going to work when you do make it, and you just prove them wrong every day.
Well, when I got out of high school, I served an apprenticeship as a pipe fitter, and I learned a lot, but I hated every day. I hated every day going into nuclear powerhouses and going into paper mills and smelling and stinking. And, I said, I'm going to start my own business. And I remember my dad said, boy, if you think you can make a living playing with toys, you got another thing coming. Well, the old man's in the ground.
You're playing with toys.
I'm Santa Claus.
Yeah, there you go.
And I got my own elves.
Yeah, there you go. and not a lot of people know, but you actually were a main, I guess, designer or constructor of the USA bobsled team.
Well, I'd say I had some influence. I came along in 2001. I heard they were going to let women race in the Olympics, and my daughters had won everything in the Derby. This race you see here today, my one daughter, Ruthie, who's the president, we decided we was going to get a bobsled, and we were going to go out and give it a try. So I went out and I bought her one, and we weren't really welcomed real well. They told us you've got to start off as a brake person, and I said, no, you don't understand, sir. I just bought a sled, and my one daughter's a brake person, the other's the driver. We're here to race. And it wasn't met with open arms real well.
Well, everybody hates a winner, but everybody wants to be one,
Well, Spivvy, after, there's been quite a few years since then. I had a lot of influence on some technology parts, but I could have done it, but the money wasn't there, and I did it till Savannah got old enough to race. And when Savannah got old enough to race, it became a second priority.
Well, that's cool. I tell you what, the little gal makes you proud every day. She's, you put a challenge in front of her, and she whips that one and says, "Okay, where's the next one?" And it's just amazing to me. We met her a year ago, and Susie talked about this morning. Said, "Do you believe how much that little girl has grown in a year's time, and not only in stature, but in
maturity."
Maturity, yeah.
There's been a lot thrown on Savannah's plate in 1 year, and
you've taken her. You've taken her from a little gal that was here at the Soapbox Derby race that was just smiles ear to ear to coast down the hill. You've got her in the top of the heap in the fast go-karts, the fastest go-karts on the planet. She spanks all the pro guys on a regular basis. You've now got her coming into Tony karts. You've got, when we interviewed her, we told her that our prediction, and I think I know you well enough, my friend, that you are molding this little gal for future things. Greater things on down the road, and you're doing it exactly right. You're making her earn her way to do it so she respects and understands what it took to get it there.
Well, I want Savannah to know that we are a very fortunate family, and we got to where we are today by one thing, and that's hard work. And I want to teach her those work ethics that I've learned, because I see these kids coming up nowadays, and all they do is play with their thumbs. Spivvy, I build these little billet yo-yos for promotional purposes with my business, and I went to the last United States Pro Kart Series, and I took 100 yo-yos.
Okay.
Every kid walked by, I give them a yo-yo.
Okay.
I'm talking about a sweet little yo-yo. Billet aluminum, bearing in the middle
We'll
of
be
it.
expecting ours in the mail.
Yeah, we'll be expecting ours in the mail to play with. That's all right.
And, it was such a fulfilling thing, because at the end of the day, the parents came by to me, and they were like, we just want to thank you. Our kids finally found something old school, and for the whole weekend, they didn't walk around with their telephones. They walked around with these yo-yos.
Yeah, and really, that's the thing, that the phones have taken over to where they think that's all the technology in the world, and they have helped. I mean, they've put a library at their fingertips if they want to use it for research to find out things like that. Of course, most of them play video games with them, which helps their reflexes, but still, I agree with you. There needs to be some old school stuff thrown in there.
Well, technology is a big deal. Since we met with you last year, Savannah's come a long way with our data acquisition program. we have when we go out on the racetrack, that GoPro goes on the helmet.
Yeah, sure, and you analyze it, you know.
And
yeah,
that GoPro's turned on, and we go out and we race. When the cart comes off the track, Savannah grabs the GoPro, she grabs Mr. Lawson, and they head into the motorhome, and they sit down away from everybody in the quiet, and they go over to GoPro.
Yeah.
Out in the pits, I'm out there working on the race car, making gear changes, whatever changes that need to be made.
Right.
After the GoPro, we've got the Micron, and we use the GPS. Then we'll bring that up. And Savannah, you know, best thing about it all, when you deal with a young kid in racing, I didn't do that, seems to be their best friend. And the GoPro and the Micron, they eliminate Mr. I didn't do that.
Yeah, because you did do that, because here it is, you know.
Because here it is.
Now don't do it again, that kind of thing, yeah.
And you talk about the maturity of Savannah, that is one of the areas she's matured in. She's starting to understand data acquisition. And my big thing with her right now is, I don't care about you working on the go-kart, but I do care about you being in charge of the GoPro, all the stuff with the data, because I feel going to the next level, if she's that driver that controls her own data acquisition, that is going to make her so much better.
Oh, I think you're exactly right, my friend. That when she can come in and she can analyze that and say, now look, it did this, now keep it from doing this, then it makes your job pretty easy, because you know what it takes to keep it from doing this, whatever this is. Right. And so it makes it pretty neat to be able to have that whole package like that. Now, we talked to her, and we're going to bring you in on this. Terry and I talked last night for quite a while. Of course, guys, on an earlier show, when Miss Savannah went to Beach Bend Park just to have some fun, we got about a 5-minute interview with her, and we talked just a little. And so T and I at dinner last night were talking. We believe, and we believe this as strong as we're sitting in this golf cart, that the day will come when she wins the Indianapolis 500. And I know that's pretty far out there, but so many of the champions, so many of the, all the open wheel champions, if you take Michael Schumacher, or you take Dario Franchitti, or you take any of those guys, they started out in go-karts. They all started out in go-karts, and they were all go-kart champions. And it taught them the finesse to handle all that horsepower to weight that the open wheel Indy cars throw at them, and they're like a concert pianist, sort of, if you will. They know what to do, but they know how to do it. And I don't know if that makes sense to our listeners. To you, I'm sure it makes perfect sense. It's like having a great big sponsor. You can have all the money in the world, and you can buy all these good parts, but if you don't know what to do with them, what's the point? You know.
Well, I was determined that me and Savannah were going to race quarter midgets, and simply because I build for all the factory guys and the chassis builders, and the groundwork would just been an open door for her. But I found these go-karts, and I found them running on the road course, and I realized that this is the hardest form of racing today for youth. There is nothing horsepower to weight ratio as tough as what we're running.
Well, Terry found that out real quick when he bought
me sucking eggs.
Yeah,
real
I
quick,
mean, you're talking about a boy that made a living racing a motorcycle that weighs 150 pound, 80 horsepower on nitromethane, and yet he gets into a Tony shifter cart, and I mean, it flat gets his attention
It
with a little
woke me up
125.
real quick.
You know, and it did, didn't it, to you? I mean, it taught you.
It's the most violent thing that I have ever been in. People don't believe me when I tell it, but I just say, go out and get you some.
You know,
It's amazing how fast they
it
are,
is.
T.
and they react so quick to what you do, and what she's doing, she's learning all that, and she's learning it so that later on, whatever you and I'm sure you will always come up with the best there is for her. That's just Dad, you know. When she moves into that step, she's not going to have to go through that hard learning curve, because she's going to know most of it.
She's already there.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah.
I'm so proud of Savannah in this past year. I mean, you know, we're by no means the best driver in the country, but we're in the top 10 a lot.
And you're a young lady in the top 10, my friend.
Amen, brother.
Which makes her a media magnet, which makes the sponsors thrilled to death. We have proved, and we kid you about being the cat in the hat, Jack Roush hires people to teach his drivers how to talk in front of the media. And they spend a tremendous. We've had them on the show, and they spend a tremendous amount of money to teach those boys how to talk to these microphones. Savannah took to that like a duck to water. I mean, it was nothing to it.
Thank God she don't take after my old country tale.
Well, that's one thing you didn't teach her, bud. She picked that up on her own. We're just playing because she really, and that is another hard lesson that here. Man, Derek, she's 13 years old. Give me a break. Look how much future she's got in front of her to actually polish what she already knows.
Like I said, I must be doing something right in life because, I'm self-made. I come from nothing. And it's starting to fall in our lap. We landed this TV show coming up, and I'm just amazed at how fortunate we are.
Well, being fortunate comes to people that earn it. The guys that are good work that extra hour. They don't take off at 5 o'clock. They're there till 6 or 7. And the guys that earn and learn at the same time are the guys that want it. And you got to want it. An old saying that's so true. It's whether you think you can or you think you can't. Either way, you're right.
Well, I got to tell you, behind every successful man's a woman, and I have a good woman at home that takes care of my business, that pushes me to succeed, that pushes Savannah to succeed, and my wife misses out on a lot of this stuff because of our business. But
you got to take care of it,
Right.
and you're smart to keep a family member taking care of it because nobody will take care of your stuff as good as you do. I don't care who. I'm fortunate. I just got a wife that knows how to whip me, so I just do what she says,
Mine's got me on a short leash.
On a short leash, too. Okay.
Well, look at all the playing I get to do. So when I go home, I'm in smooch mode.
Yeah, time for you to work, buddy. That's ain't no doubt about it.
Honey-do list is here.
Dude, I don't get to play. I don't get to play this much without being good.
Savannah just hooked up with Tony Kart, which is the absolute, in my eyes and T's eyes, the best go-kart on the planet. They're the Ferrari of go-karts. What's that going to do?
Well, I got to correct you now. We were on the USA factory team for PCR.
Okay.
And we're going to Tony Kart. And we're going to Tony Kart for a couple of reasons.
All right.
And most of it is marketability.
Okay.
Tony Kart, I've ran a midget team. I've been involved in racing all my life. And when we bought our midget team, we bought Sarah Fisher's stuff when Sarah got to ride with Walker Racing.
Okay.
And we bought a Hawk chassis and a Drynan chassis. And then after doing it for a year, we did good, but we didn't give our money to Bob East, the Beast chassis. And that's where Jeff Gordon came from, Tony Stewart came from, Kenny Irwin came from, Casey Kane came from.
I understand.
And spending your money in the right location is a big deal.
Sure it is.
And I've learned that. And PCR is a great chassis. The PCR team has been great to us. But they're trying to build a brand in the United States.
Exactly.
And Tony Kart isn't trying to build a brand.
Tony Kart's got a brand, friend.
And there's a young lady named Ashley Ruggiero who Savannah really looks up to. And I think Ashley's the next best thing in women's racing, women coming up in racing right now. And we want to be mentored by her also.
Yeah.
And our move to Tony Kart has nothing to do with the performance of the chassis. It all has to do with the marketability of Savannah.
Well, there's an old saying, my friend. It's not what you are, but what you are perceived to be. And right now, I mean, Tony Kart's got the reputation of being the bad guy on the block now, and it doesn't hurt. I think when you go other sponsor hustling, you might say, to say, look, this is what we do. We're what they perceive to be the best. We're already there with that. We don't want your money to buy us that. We're there with that. And I think when they look at it that way, it's probably going to be a plus from there too.
Well, I think so. Savannah's never really had a sponsor. Her sponsor is Zero Air Racing, which is my company. And
that's a good one.
So recently, though, I mean, because of the TV show coming on, some of my vendors, I told them about it. I got Yard Metals going to help us. I got Clinton Aluminum going to help us, and it's all about what you can do for the sponsors. So many people in racing, they come out there and look for these sponsors and they ask for money, and they don't have a program.
They can't give them anything for what they're paying for.
Right. I came to Clinton Aluminum and I said, look here, you're a Fortune 500 company. I want to market my daughter. I don't want anything from you. Here's what I want. I want to be able to use your name and all my promotional stuff. I want you to use Savannah and all your stuff.
That's big.
All right, we're going to PRI this year.
Yeah.
We're going to be right in the front before they open the door with the Clinton Aluminum boys.
There you go.
And they're going to be pushing Savannah.
There you go. Nobody knows how much the check was in any of this.
Nope.
You know, when you look at Tony Stewart, you look at Jeff Gordon, you look at all those guys, nobody knows how much that check from DuPont was. Nobody knows how much that check from Home Depot was. Nobody knows for real. So, but they do know the association. They do know the promotion that comes with it. I think you're brilliant to do that. It's you know, you might as well be in bed with a winner. You know.
Well, like I said, I mean, so I have to work right now for these companies and do things for them. It's going to cost me time, effort, and money. But like I told them, I don't want nothing right now. But there's going to be a day when I come in your door,
and you're going to know who I am when I come in,
and you're going to have to help.
And I'm going to be valuable to you at that time.
They calling you Mr. Fitzgerald.
Yeah, there you go. Well, this little radio show, and it really is nothing in the scheme of things, but we have been very fortunate that some of these kids, they will use our archive page because these shows are archived and they can be called on demand. They will go to a sponsor and say, look, I do really well with the media. And they say, well, how are we to know that? Well, here, listen to it.
Well,
you know,
absolutely.
and they here they're talking about their product before they ever give them the check. And so we've had one oval track kid get a bunch of money because of that, and he'd been courting these people for quite a while, and they would never pay any attention to him. And then he called, says, take your telephone, do this, push that button, and you listen.
Well, that's what we did. Our little event radio thing from last year.
Yeah,
I gave that to Clinton Aluminum when I started that little deal.
All right. Well, see, it works, guys.
Thank you.
What we, you know, and I wish everybody was as smooth as our buddy Derek and would pick up on that, because that's something that we, Terry and I, do as old racers that we can offer you that we really wish we'd had back then, you know. And now this is available to you. All you got to do is stop us at the golf cart. We're more than happy to have you on this show and talk to you and introduce you. See, everybody wants to talk to Jeff Gordon. Everybody wants to talk to John Force. Everybody wants to talk to Emerson Fittipaldi. Everybody wants to talk to those guys. But the Savannah Fitzgeralds out there that are going to be the next Jeff Gordon, the next Tony Stewart, they have a heck of a hard time getting exposed because they're not there yet. And event radio, that's where we come in, and that's why we started it, we want to talk to the Savannah Fitzgeralds of the world. We don't, you know, hey, we grew up with those guys. We know, I knew John Force when he didn't have enough money to buy a bologna sandwich. So, you know.
He really did.
And that's true. We know those guys, and we're thankful that they've got all they've got. And we're thankful that they've got the big sponsors, and we're thankful that they're doing them justice and the whole 9 yards, and the media just wears them out. Good for you, boys. We ain't going to be there. And it's not that we can't. It's because we elect to do it a different way. And that's why what little, I guess you'd say, success event radio has had in the last year, that's part of the reason. You know, that we go to where we wish they came to when we were there, when we were sitting in your seat right now, and we were the ones being interviewed, which Terry and I have done that for years. I mean, we did this stuff a long, long time, you know. What Terry say, we've been kicked out of most racetracks than most of them have ever even been to.
Yeah.
But we've done this stuff coast to coast. We know what this is about. We know what goes on. We know the behind the scenes, the front scenes, the sponsorship angles. I mean, we've been there. You know, we've done it. And if we can make it easier on the young guys coming up when they really, really need it, that's us, buddy.
Well, this TV show that's coming out, oh my God, Spiv. You know I'm high tense type of guy.
Yeah.
And they've got 8 of us families.
How many times they bleep the button on you?
Well, they bleep us, dude. It gets deep in our pits because when we're on it, we're not holding anything back. It's time to go, and if it isn't going right, we got to make it go right. And if that requires getting everybody in line, we'll get them in line.
Well, that's what you got to do, buddy. That's what you got to do, and that's what real reality TV is. Don't script this deal. Just sit back and watch it. This is the way it really goes down. And I was kidding Savannah. I said, how many times they bleeped your dad? She said, oh, quite a bit.
Well, we've had a few situations. At the one big race, I decided to run practice on used tires. And it was a big mistake because 80% of the field put on new. And it beat Savannah's confidence up, and the times were off. And I realized that it wasn't going to get any better for the day because I had made a mistake. And I came into her. They had all these cameras on me, and Savannah was just like a little sad sack. And I kind of sparked off at her and said, get your head out your tail. You cannot be letting yourself get down. So I made a mistake. It'll get fixed. And I'm kind of wondering how I'm going to look on TV when all that crap went down.
Hey, they'll probably still want your autograph.
Look like
buddy.
a dad trying to do his best.
You'll look like we said at the beginning of the interview. If there's such a thing as an award for Dad of the Year, that ought to be you, because you're teaching her not only on the racetrack but off the racetrack how to grow up as a championship racer, a beautiful young lady, and how to get by in the world.
Well, like I said, schooling is very important to me and my wife. It's important to the principal. I sat down with the principal last year and said, look, this is what I want to do. And he looked over at Savannah and said, young lady, is this what you want to do? And she said, yes, sir. And he said, then you better have an AB average.
There you go. And she does.
And she does.
So, hey, just tell me what I got to do and cut me loose and watch me go, right?
Right. And
listen,
she's
buddy,
risen to the occasion.
We could talk till the cows come home, but we really can't on this little radio show. We got to end it as bad as I hate to. But, it's been a fast year. It's been a fast year since we talked to you last. And all the successes and everything you've had, buddy, you deserve every one of them. You are totally worthy of them all. And T and I, thank you for running our decals. Thank you for placing a little faith in us at an early time that before a lot of people knew who we were. There's a bunch more of them that know us now, after a year. But and like Savannah, there's a lot of them now that know her more. And after this little show, they're gonna get to see how she's matured and how she's because they can go on the archive and they can listen to last year's and compare it to this year's, and they'll get to see the art of a young lady coming into her own and becoming the little wallflower, if you will, smiling cute, coming to the fierce competitor that she is now. And you can thank old Dad sitting here for making that happen.
Derek Bleep Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
that's me, baby.
That's his new nickname, Derek Bleep Fitzgerald.
Just call him Bleep.
You could have caught me bleeping a little while ago when we crashed that car.
I know.
In the
Well,
final heat.
we won't go into that because we have our own opinions about that, and we're not going to get in there.
Well, our first national championship slipped away, and we're going to try. We're going to work at it. We're not going to give up. But wrecks happen in racing, and we had a hell of a one today.
Yeah, you did, but she's okay, and everything's cool. And we're not going to get into the wreck because, like I said, T and I have our own opinions of that, and we'll keep those to ourselves. Derek, thank you. Thank you for the friendship. Thank you for being on Event Radio several times and all the promotion and all the nice things you say about us to all the people you come in contact with all over this country. We appreciate you for that. More than that, we appreciate you for being a buddy.
Well, thank God for Facebook because we can all keep up with each other.
Yeah, we can talk.
Yeah, we do.
All we got to do is learn to type, and we'll be dangerous.
Hey,
Derek Spivey will call me up and say, "Did you see where Savannah was this weekend?"
Yeah. We keep up with. We're like old guys that are fans and back in the stands. We do it. We keep up with her, but we keep up with her in that way because we're rolling all the time. So, guys, the one and only Mr. Derek Fitzgerald. If you need to buy anything that's absolutely cool, give this gentleman a call. Check it out on the web. Tell them how they can find you, bud.
www.zero-era.com. I live the American dream, and God bless America.
There you go, buddy. Guys, we're going to stab and steer. We've had a big time at with at the Fitzgerald household, I guess you will say, which is a
Rolling household.
rolling household, a killer bus with a double tacker trailer and all the cool stuff inside. But we've had fun. Terry, where are we going next? You got any idea?
Just let her rip, baby.
All right. We'll be right back to close this darling out, guys. Thank you for joining us. You've been listening to Event Radio. Do not go anywhere.
Thank you, Derek.
Well, T-Bone, what do you think of our evening with the Fitzgeralds?
Oh, I tell you what a racing family. Well, what a great bunch of people all over this place today, Smith.
Yeah, I know. We ran into some really nice folks.
Politest kids. I mean, like I said earlier, we was talking to Gunny. You know, they get out of them doggone carts and they shake each other's hand or something like that, or hug each other, win or lose. That's good camaraderie. It's the whole thing is really family backed. It looks like.
How much has little Savannah grown in your eyes from maturity from what she was a year ago?
Oh, it's a difference in ice cream and poop.
Yeah, I mean
big difference.
She has turned into a pretty smooth little old gal.
She's a media magnet.
Yeah, she really is. She's a media sweetheart, and buddy, she knows how to wheel something, and that's out of 13 years old kid. That's amazing to me.
Well, Derek was talking about how them carts are, horsepower to weight ratio. I mean, I know that, but she can wheel them little boogers around with the big boys now.
Well, you imagine you were pretty good growing up as a kid, But
good at what?
Well, now you know what I'm talking about. And to turn you loose in one of those things as fast as those are at 13, you would have had your hands full.
Oh, I imagine.
And you're,
I have my hands full now.
Well, you're old now. See, that don't count. But it's pretty cool. And when of course, you more than me, your dad was into racing. I mean, he believed in racing everything, and so you sort of grew up in that mode, and I had to sort of work my way in that mode, but it all turned out great. But man, can you imagine with Derek being dad and all the ability and the mechanical engineering and all the stuff that he's got that can actually make you go fast?
Right. Well, people may say we're blowing smoke about Savannah Fitzgerald, but remember that name, people, because you're going to hear it a whole lot more, especially on the big scene, whether it be NASCAR, Indy cars, or Formula One. You're going to hear Savannah Fitzgerald.
The little girl is going to be there.
And her daddy Bleep.
And her daddy Bleep. Yeah, there you go. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Event Radio. We never close our program without thanking the people that mean a bunch to us, that we would not be here without them. Beach Bend Park, Beach Bend Raceway, Beach Bend Splash Lagoon. They are killer.
Quick fuel technology and our good buddies Final Finish.
The Gearhead Gazette magazine on the internet, gearheadgazette.com. Everything that's cool with cars, guys, they have it in their schedule, and you got plenty of time if you pay attention to that to get there and have a great time at great events all over our area. And last but not least, the guys at Holly Performance, they make so much cool stuff. It's pretty hard to pick, If you can't find something at Holly Performance to fix your hot rod or to build a hot rod with,
you ain't got a hot rod.
Or you don't have the desire to even look. Guys, we appreciate you joining us on Event Radio. If you've enjoyed it, please tell a friend. If you don't, keep it to yourself. Don't be telling them nothing ugly.
Hit us up on Facebook. Say hi.
Yeah. The Facebook right now, till we're getting the other one working, is just under my name, Spivey Williams. Just go under there, and all the Event Radio posts are there. Our website, we actually have 2 more Facebook pages, eventradiolive.com. And that's our website and how you listen to all our shows and our archive page. But we do have an Event Radio Live page as well as an Event Radio Productions page. And so far, T or I, neither one are smart enough to make those work. So we're working on it, though. We're going to get it sooner or later. Thank you so much for joining us on Event Radio. We're going to get out of here, and we will talk to you again.
Say bye.
You've been listening to Event Radio, covering local drag racing, stock car racing, motorcycles, go-karts. If it's got wheels and you can race it, you heard about it here. Event Radio is motorsports radio on steroids. Join us next time with your hosts, Spivey Williams and Terrible T Guy.